So with us today, Casey McGuigan, our product owner for Slingshot. You may recognize her from our Reveal webinar. She is also the product owner for Reveal. These two products actually work very well together, and you'll see that during today's demo and during the webinar today. And my name is Jason Barris. I'm our Senior VP of Developer Tools at Infragistics, and very excited to bring you this webinar today. So the agenda, we'll get an introduction to Slingshot and how it prevents work disruptions and really helps your teams thrive. And that's what we're trying to promote here, is that with Slingshot, you get business outcomes that you could never get before, and your teams will thrive, which means success, which means more to the bottom line for your company. We'll do a little example of why you want an all-in-one app versus point solutions. There's a lot of point solutions in the market today, which will say, hey, we can help you do this specific thing really well, or another specific thing really well. With Slingshot, we bring all that together so you're not taken out of your context, out of the flow of your work. We'll do a demo, and then we'll look at the roadmap. You'll also get a recording of this after the webinar today, and please ask questions in the Q&A window. So as I mentioned earlier, what we're trying to really say here is when teams thrive, anything is possible. And you all know this at work. When everything is clicking, everything is working, things just get done, you feel better, your teams feel better, and your boss is hopefully a lot happier. And that all returns to the bottom line of your company. So when you do work together, the results are what shows. And the problem with today's software across most enterprises is that there's so many solutions trying to either do the same thing, overlapping features, or they just don't work well together. What we're doing with Slingshot is bringing all of this together. So in one solution, you can have these extraordinary results and really help your team communicate better and get work done faster. So why Slingshot? Slingshot integrates all the important areas of daily business into a single application. This includes data analytics, project and file management, chat, goals, strategies, everything that your company needs to thrive. So with this, you're keeping everyone in the know. You're using data insights to make faster decisions, and bringing Reveal into this. If you're familiar with Reveal, our embedded SDK, for business intelligence and analytics, it really accelerates that whole story for you and your team, which means that you can hit your goals faster and you can increase performance with accountability. And you'll see a lot of these words today in the demo and in the slide deck: accountability, transparency, data insights at the point of impact, all of the stuff that really today you have to jump all over the place into different tools or different solutions that your company might provide to get the same answer. So how does this all work, and how do we bring it all together? So Slingshot's designed to work on any screen, any device. We have mobile applications for iOS and Android. We have a native Mac app. We have a desktop app, which will work on any Windows desktop, and of course a web app. So no matter where you're at, everything is accessible. And we didn't cut corners here. So there's a lot of applications today that maybe only have a web experience, and then you can use that on your phone, but it's not the same. You don't get alerts. It's not integrated. It's really not what you would expect. And the user experience isn't designed for those devices. And then even something like Microsoft Teams, for example, on a Mac, it's horrible performance. It's like bloatware. You don't get native notifications, and constantly it's trying to reconnect to servers. It really shines on Windows, but on other devices, it's just not the same. So with Slingshot, we really help you make business happen anywhere, because everything is at your fingertips. You're always connected, no matter what, to your company, to your teams, to your projects, to your content, to your analytics. And that's a key aspect of bringing everything into a single application that'll really help your team thrive. You can integrate with your organization seamlessly with Slingshot. So many applications today are designed just looking at you as a team, but you as a team work with external partners, you work with other organizations. So how can you have a product that actually brings in those third-party organizations, maybe individuals from a consulting company that's working on a project with you? We've designed Slingshot so that it integrates with your organization, any number of organizations, it doesn't matter. Any other individual that you may bring in as a consultant onto your team, so they have access to content, to chats, to project management, to the goals and strategies, all the stuff that would matter to really deliver on whatever outcomes that your team needs to ship as in terms of your strategies and goals. So you can create teams, share projects, assign tasks, view and edit dashboards, no matter who you are, as long as you're in that team and you have permissions to do so. So it actually works really well. At Infragistics, we have third-party companies that are kind of like part of our company where, maybe they're helping us with web stuff or they're helping us with testing or whatever. They're just different organizations, and those projects kind of flow seamlessly together. They have access on whatever device they're using, and we have access to what we need on the devices that we're using. And because everyone today is using one of the big tech tools like G Suite, Google Workspace, Google Drive, Office 365 or Microsoft 365, we have integrations and we're built on top of all of those tools. So if you have a document that's in a SharePoint library or a Google Drive workspace, we are built on top of those tools. So all of the security context, all of the capabilities of those document management systems flow up into what we offer in Slingshot. So it's just as easy to upload something into Slingshot, share it with someone across a team as it is if you were doing the same thing with SharePoint. And then if you are just adding content directly into Slingshot and not sharing via a Google Drive or an Office 365, we have storage. So we'll store it on your SharePoint server and then inherit all of those permissions that you would have gotten otherwise with those storage libraries. So not only do you have easy access to any content on any device, you also have all of the built-in security through Slingshot bubbling up from tools like Office 365, Google Drive, etc. And then a big thing about helping teams thrive, transparency, accountability is, of course, project management. So we have all of the tools you need to maintain team accountability and give your projects a clear path to success. So we have project management with timeline, Kanban list views, task dependencies, threaded discussions, filtering, but it goes so much beyond just a project management tool. And you'll see that in the demo today, where the goal of a project management is not just having accountability across a timeline. It's about content. It's about discussions. It's about sharing information, but doing that within the context of where you're working. And that's where an all-in-one solution like Slingshot really comes forward and shines. If I was using just a separate tool, like for example, Asana, I would have to have documents on another system. I would have to have chat in a different system. And then I would do my project management in Asana, when really you want everything within the context of your flow. And we'll use this word a lot, in context, within your flow, at the point of impact. You don't want to have to move around to different applications just to get your work done. And the problem with that is your manager never sees it. So there's no transparency to actually what's happening at the team level with all these point solutions, because nothing bubbles up into any reporting or anything that would actually give meaningful status updates. So I mentioned content earlier, but content synchronization happens across every device. So we're not storing anything locally, but we're storing pointers to every file that you might have spread across any file storage system. So if you're using a Dropbox, if you're using Google Drive, if you're using Microsoft 365, all of that can get pulled into Slingshot. So for example, I'm on my mobile phone and I need to look up a contract, or I need to maybe check a quick edit on a document because Slingshot gave me a notification that an individual completed a task. I can very quickly do that while in the back of a taxi cab, at a restaurant, or wherever I might be in the globe. Now, this doesn't mean that, of course, if I'm using Office 365, I could do the same thing, but the whole experience is different. That would come through an email. I would see that so-and-so updated a document. I would have to open something on my email client on my mobile device. It'll try to open up some other third-party application or Word. So you're not really kept within the context of that, because right within that notification in Slingshot, I can mark this task as completed. I can start a chat or a threaded discussion with the person who did the task on the content, and then I can keep working and just move on. So the seamless flow of communication, accountability, transparency is really what keeps driving your business results faster. And then data-driven insights. I mentioned this with Reveal. This is a unique aspect of Slingshot, which really brings data to the enterprise. So today, of course, every enterprise has some sort of dashboarding tool, some sort of reporting tool. But again, it's all disparate. It's all separate. How about analytics at the point of impact? How about letting me create a dashboard from an Excel file that happened to be in a chat that I can then share with my team so we can start tracking some new KPIs? This is a big part of Slingshot. You'll see in the demo today how we bring data into Slingshot, how you can basically transform how your company looks at data and uses data with Slingshot to drive results and to drive not only business insights at the point of impact, but making sure that we're hitting our goals. And then, of course, any application like this wouldn't be worth its weight unless it had a really great way of doing real-time communication. So with Slingshot, you've got chat, you've got group discussions, threaded discussions, discussions on any artifact within Slingshot. So for example, if I'm looking at content, if I'm looking at a dashboard, if I'm looking at a task, I can start a discussion right there and then communicate with my team. All notifications happen through every device that you have. So you can quickly click on a notification that a discussion or chat has started, and then you just keep working through. So real-time communication and collaboration is critical, and Slingshot offers this on every artifact. So it's not just in a chat window. And that's part of the problem with something, for example, like Microsoft Teams, where I'm really just it's in a chat tool. It's not really a project management tool. It's not a task management tool. It's not a BI tool. So the chat happens, but it's external to whatever artifact we happen to be talking about. I can upload something into Teams or do a hyperlink to something into Teams, but that very quickly gets lost in that threaded discussion. So this is just a completely unique way of looking at doing business at the point of impact with collaboration on any artifact or any piece of content. And then one of the best features, and this is really where you'll see in the demo today, are these productivity flows that we've designed. And we're going to keep harping on doing business at the point of impact for whatever you happen to be working on. So yeah, if you want to do a dashboard, how can that dashboard affect my task immediately or help me make a decision immediately? And that's where productivity flows come into play, where I can use any of the built-in features of Slingshot in the context, not taking me out of the flow of working on a task, working on a project, working on a dashboard, etc., and then keep my flow going, keep my flow of work happening, and I'm getting things done. So I'm accelerating business outcomes by doing all of this in a single tool like Slingshot, instead of having to jump from application to application. And we all do this all day long, where you're doing something and then you're like, oh, I got to go look in this other app to do it. And then by the time you get there, you've already had 3 other notifications of other apps, and then you forgot what you were going to go do. This is what gets eliminated with a tool like Slingshot, because you're in context, you're in real all the time with the application. So when we talk about this all-in-one versus point solution, there's a lot of arguments about, like, do we need a big solution to handle anything or everything, or should I have a bunch of like awesome solutions? Well, back in like 2010, when there was a lot of disruption in the internet around point solutions. And that was mostly because all-in-one solutions had a horrible user experience. They were too expensive, and they didn't listen to their customers. So I can think of some HR applications that we used to use at Infragistics. It's almost like they tried extra hard to make them horrible. And so then you had these point solutions come into play, which didn't do everything, but they did one thing really well, maybe like vacation management or payroll management, and they were beautiful. The user experience just made sense. So pretty much everyone now in the last decade has gotten pretty smart to the fact that while a point solution that does one thing really well is great because they can just focus on one thing, in order for true productivity to happen, all-in-one solutions need to come back, and they need to have an amazing user experience, and they need to be designed for users. And that's what we've done with Slingshot. So we look at research all over the, from analysts and surveys from big tech, et cetera. Pegasystems did a survey. And one of the things that they came up with was employees switch between 35 different job critical applications more than 1,100 times a day. So go ahead and start tracking yourself. Every time you have to switch to go do something critical to your job, how much time do you lose? Microsoft's done research on this, and you lose hours a week on task switching. So the point that I have to get an Excel file and an email, bring it over to maybe Power BI to do a dashboard, upload it to SharePoint, then share it with my users or upload it to Teams. I'm using 4 or 6 different applications for something that really should be 2 clicks and then I'm done. And you'll see how we achieve that in Slingshot today. So here's a little side by side. I think this is a great graph that Casey put together here. You've got your all-in-one tools on the left, and then on the right, what the point solutions offer. So if I think about, yeah, they all address a pain point, but going down to the second item, a wide range of features that can support teams in different areas. That's what really helps you drive business results. That's what creates transparency. It's what creates accountability, because everyone knows what's going on because the tool is tracking it. And then you're getting hopefully some sort of aggregate reporting. In Slingshot, we have overview windows, which will tell me like who on my team is behind, what's going on with specific projects. So that's where these all-in-one solutions really shine. Cost effective. It's amazing how much money, when you start adding up all of the point solutions that you're paying for. So you're like, oh, we only pay $7 a month for Asana and $9 a month for Monday.com and $13 a month for Microsoft Office, but we get Power BI for free if it's E2 level, even though we can't share. And all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, we're paying like $40 a month for each person on these point solutions when there is other options available for much less. And actually $40 a month is cheap. I think there's research out there that it's anywhere between, you know, $60 and $120 a month on tools that help people actually just get their job done, which is extreme for when you think about what some of them are offering. All in one, it's faster to implement one tool rather than multiple different tools. Training is always a big issue. Training costs money and it takes time. Specialists in each areas are generalists, people who have proficiency in multiple different fields. So one of the things, and we always see this with point solutions, is, you know, they want to bring in the consultant to train you how to use it, or on the invoice, you'll see there's a default monthly charge or an upfront charge for access to their learning library, because they're really trying to maximize that $9 a month. So no company is going to be able to say, hey, you know, I'm going to bring in a whole team and we'll get you set up, even though you're $9 a month for 30 people is going to be X amount. Let's charge you $50,000 to get you up to speed and trained. A lot of point solutions do that. It's just too extreme. The costs are too high. And then finally, reducing stress and saves time as users are able to find everything they need under the same roof, under that same application. And that's critical. And when you see the demo, which we're going to get to in about 10 seconds, you'll actually see how we actually do this in Slingshot. And you're not getting distracted. You're not getting this stress because you have to remember logins and different applications and different websites. And is it a desktop? Is it a web solution? How did I do it last time? So the all-in-one solution actually does end up helping not only reduce stress, but it's really about driving results and driving business outcomes. So with that, I am going to unshare my screen and I'm going to let Casey take over, and she's going to show us Slingshot. So take it away, Casey.
All right. Just move this over here. You can hear me okay?
Yep, you sound great.
And you can see my screen? You can see Slingshot? Okay. You muted yourself, but I see you smiling. All right. I'm going to go through then just a kind of high level demo of Slingshot. But in addition, just for like an FYI, if you do go to our webinars page, slingshotapp.io/webinars. We will be doing another deep dive of like one-on-one basics, next level Slingshot, and then I am going to also do an advanced demo as well. So be sure to come and check out like all the other webinars and stuff that we are going to have up here. But going into our high-level demo here, I'm going to demo Slingshot on the web, but from what you can see on the website is we do support desktop, Mac OS, iOS, Android as well. And all of the experience, features, and functionality are the same across all platforms. So when you come into Slingshot, kind of going from your left to your right navigation, you have your high-level top navigation over here on the left-hand side, where you can see you have your My Stuff, your different workspaces, and your bookmarks as well. So within your My Stuff area, you have a personal overview for yourself where you can see anything that you bookmark throughout the application. And you're able to bookmark really anything, content that you're working on. You can bookmark directly to a dashboard, to a list of tasks, to a point in time in a discussion where maybe there was something really memorable that you need to remember, you need to go back and revisit. You can bookmark that point in time as well. And then you can see all of your upcoming tasks. So I can quickly see for me what's due this week. You can change this as well to see anything that's overdue for yourself, anything maybe that's due today, tomorrow, but by default you can see this week. And then any mentions for yourself that you've missed throughout the application. So through discussions with your teammates in Workspaces, to threaded discussion within tasks and chat, you can make sure that you don't really miss a beat when you can see here anything that you have missed with an @mention. And then moving over to the right, you have your tasks here, where you have this top area for My Tasks that will pull together anything from throughout Slingshot, regardless of the workspace that it lives in, that is assigned to yourself. So you can get a full view of your entire workload. So you don't have to go into all these different teams and projects to figure out what's due for what. So you're able to pull together all of these different tasks for yourself, and then you can even create filters off of them. So there's a filter that I love to create in here where I would go into the advanced mode. I would select anything that is assigned to myself, and then I would pick anything that is due this week. I'd pick anything that needs to start this week and anything that's overdue. So I have a really clear understanding of my weekly priorities every time that I come into Slingshot. So it's really easy for me to keep track of my work that way. In addition, you can create personal lists as well. So for example, I have in here just setting a Q3 goal, but you could do anything that is just personal for yourself, kind of one-off things that you know that you need to get done, whether it's maybe you're coaching for the year or finding a new podcast or whatever it might be, you can create in here. And then moving in to content is where you're able to pull together all of your different content providers. So from here, you can see that you can connect directly to Google Drive, OneDrive, Dropbox, Box, and SharePoint. And you're able to utilize all of these direct connections to the cloud storage providers on boards, which is a really organized way to organize your content within context of the different projects and processes and initiatives that you have going on that you'll kind of see in a few minutes, as well as use them for attachments into discussions and chat and tasks as well. And then moving over here is your analytics. So here is where I'm able to create any dashboards that I want to. I can share them with individuals. I can put them into shared workspaces as well. And I'll show you a little more of that within the workspaces. But coming over here to the left-hand side, you can see that I have this marketing workspace that is collapsible, so you can see all of the sub areas within marketing that I'm working on. And then I also have kind of like this standalone one for sales enablement. So we don't really force a level of hierarchy on you within the application. We understand that all teams and projects are all different. So for example, a sales enablement project is really just people and content based. It's a way to share the needed content that marketing needs to share with sales usually. So typically we don't need tasks and workspaces and all these different other areas. So we can create just one little space where we just have content for those specific people. But sticking with kind of like a marketing use case for this, you can see here at the marketing level, I have all of the different team members in a high level view of their tasks. I'm able to pin really important information here for my marketing team. Like I know that everybody needs the handbook. We need our action plans for this year. Leads and sales are top of mind. I want everybody to have that dashboard when they first come in. And then you have a tab in here for the additional workspaces that are the same ones you see over here, where you can get a high level view as a manager of what's on target, what's at risk, what's been completed. These things are also clickable as well. So, hey, this account-based marketing is at risk. Why? I can come in really quickly, click on that one thing that's overdue, see what it is. If there was more, they would obviously be listed here. I can even click into this task now and get additional information. I can have conversation, figure out with Christopher what's going on here. And then I can leave this and stay at my high level view as well. So your main level workspace here has your overviews, workspace, tasks, discussions, content, and analytics, as well as your sub workspace. So if I come into this Q2 launch here, I have an overview now for this launch project that has a clear start date and due date. I can see that it's on target. I have the really important information that I need for this project. So we have a weekly meeting with notes. We have the results of Q1 so that we can make data-driven decisions for Q2. We have our campaign brief. So everything that's needed for this project that's really critical is pinned up here. Any of my mentions that I missed would be here as well. And now I have also a high level view of, all right, the blocked tasks within this project. I can also see the overdue, the number of tasks that are complete, and then a breakdown by my teammates as well. And then when I come into tasks, you can see that we have a few different lists that gives you better organization into your tasks. So this one here is just a flat list that you can see status, assignee, due date. You have the ability to add in additional fields as well if you wanted to use start date. If you were using priority, you can bring those in too. Then I have a little area here for your content development, where now I'm utilizing these sections that we call them. And what I can also do with these sections is if I flip to Kanban, and you'll be in status by default, but I can switch this to group by section as well. So now I've kind of customized the different swim lanes in here for myself. Maybe if I wanted a draft, review, design instead of your in progress, blocked or whatever. And then in campaign promotion, you can see how we have our subtasks in here. And then I can also, if I wanted to flip this to timeline view, and then in timeline view, you can look at days, weeks, months. So if I flip this actually over to months, give myself a little more room, you can, I'm in months. You can see task dependencies that are in here, and these are also very easy to add. So if I wanted to, these are all set pretty well, but maybe I wanted to make this dependent on this, I can slide these out so I'm able to reprioritize right from your timeline view. And then coming into discussions here, you can see We have discussions and then different topics within them. So this gives a transparent environment for anybody on your workspace to be able to collaborate. So within these, you can see, you can @mention different people. You can assign or attach, content. You can attach dashboards and @mention people. And then I'll also show you some productivity flows there in a little bit. But if I come over then to content, you can see a mixture here of documents coming from OneDrive, documents coming from Google Drive, URL links. So an organized way to keep everything for launch material for the product queue, for the Q2 product launch, in an organized fashion in here. So it's very easy for people to be able to save time when they're trying to find the content and information that they need. And then within analytics, just an example here of a dashboard and the different visualizations that we have. And creating these dashboards is very easy as well. So if I wanted to even just add a visual from here, I can go into edit mode. I can add a new visualization. You can see the data that's being used already in my dashboard. You can add new data sources. So you can see the list of data sources that you can directly connect to within Slingshot from here. And then for anybody that's kind of like looking to get started with dashboards and data, we also have this sample file that's built into the application for you to kind of get the hang of things. So when you actually come into this file, you can see it's basically a Excel file out on the web. I have the different sheets in here that are kind of use case driven. So if you are a marketing use case, you can come here and select the marketing sheet, select data, and then you'll be brought into the visualization editor. So all of your fields that you have to use are over here on the left-hand side. You have your different settings for your different chart types here. Here's where you have a list of all your different chart types. So if we wanted to create, say, a combo chart, you can see that I have different settings for a combo chart versus your pivot grid. And then when I come back to data, you can see that these are also a little different. So we're helping guide the user into letting them know exactly what they need in order to create the chart type that they're looking to. So if I just wanted to create a combo chart really quickly, I'd come up with, I want to use month, I want to look at spend, and I want to look at our budget. And then once I have what's needed on this side, my chart will populate over here. My dashboard is using a global filter, so I can connect directly to the global filter that the dashboard's using. Change the chart to be spend versus budget. And then once I'm happy with my visualization, which I see spend actually should be a currency, so I'll come into the spend field, change this to currency. You could change things like aggregation as well if you wanted to. Update fields, and then I would hit the check on my dashboard. And I think I've done this a lot, so when I start scrolling, we'll see all the visualizations that I have added here on the fly. But I can now pick this up. If I wanted that to live at the top, I could just resize these, and just like that, I have the chart that I wanted to add. So I'll hit the check, and then I'm good. So that's a quick high level of all of the different tabs within Slingshot. But for that end kind of kicker that Jason was talking to, that we refer to as productivity flows, if I am in this dashboard here and I notice that there is, for example, there's a dip in leads in December here, and I want to now kind of figure out with my team what happened in December. So I can come here to this overflow, and we have different options to pin this to a board, start a chat, create a task, or start a discussion. So I'm going to start a discussion with my team. I will select where I want this discussion to kind of take place. Do a new topic for maybe insights. And then I'll click next. And now I am brought into the discussion tab with that dashboard already brought in with me as well. And I can come to this annotate icon. And I want to take an image of this here. And then I want to annotate it just to highlight for the team that we're looking at the December leads. I could add arrows, text, whatever I want here. Hit the check. I would click done. Now I have an image for my team members to also refer to. I can mention individuals, the whole workspace, and ask why were leads down in December. So now right from looking at insights to going into collaboration in a few clicks, notifying my team, they would get a notification, be able to come in, discussion would happen. And then even from collaborating there, we have within your discussions little overflow menus on your messages where you can come here and create a task as well. So after an action item needs to be taken, maybe for the next campaign promotion, I knew that was gonna happen. Let me find something in here. For the new campaign promotion, this will automatically pull in the message that you created the task off of. You would give this a task title to whatever it has to be, assign it out to somebody, give it a due date, and then you would click create. So going from collaborating to needing to create a task right within that area, not even having to leave your workflow, is another productivity flow. And then we have these really throughout. So even from your content, say you need somebody to update the sales track from here, you can create a task for somebody in the planning. That document gets automatically attached to the task that you're creating. You can say update track, again, assign it out, give it a date, and that is never going to be a copy of your document. It is always a direct link to that same one. So we don't want to worry about version history or anything like that. So anytime you copy a link to a document and share it or create a task from it, we're never duplicating that file. And then, yeah, so that's a few of the different productivity flows. I feel like I might be maybe going over on time, Jason. You can let me know.
Oh, no, that was actually great. I was having so much fun watching the demo, I kind of lost track of time. But is there was a question about being able to do stuff, and you mentioned chat. What is the chat option inside of Slingshot, and how do I communicate with the team?
Yep. So up here in the right-hand corner is where you have your notification center, where you'd be notified for your new tasks, your app mentions, anything that you choose to be notified for in your settings. As well, you have your chat icon too, where you can expand this open. So you have like a little larger area, or you can keep it kind of collapsed and always opened as well. And you're able to start either one-on-one chats or group chats with different individuals. And maybe I even just created this campaign promotion. And I'm going to come here and I'm going to copy a link. And I'm going to say, hey, Allison, check out the tasks here or something. I'm going to paste that link. And now Allison gets a direct link right to this, Allison and Don, since it was group, but gets a direct link to this task list now. So if I just kind of click out of it, and then I now click this, I'm brought right to that specific area within Slingshot that I wanted Allison to go check out. So kind of threw in another productivity flow in there on you.
Cool. And then there's one last question, which is something that I run into a lot, is it seems like people can be just assigning tasks, mentioning you. Is there a way to track like all of my tasks that maybe were assigned by tons of people?
Yep. So within your My Stuff area, you will see that there is the My Tasks up here, and this will pull together anything that is assigned to you, whether it's created in your personal space, whether it was created in sales enablement or PPC management, regardless of where, as long as it's assigned to you, it will show up here. And then you're also able to create saved filters for yourself as well to give yourself different views into all of your tasks.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I get a lot of tasks, and it's so easy to assign tasks, but then the individuals have to track what they have to get done and when it's due.
Yep.
And the overview window gives us some insight, as well as the notifications I use a lot because there's a lot of stuff flying across teams. And with notifications, I can always keep up to date and know what I have to do in the morning when I start my day.
Yep.
Great. Well, did you want to show anything else today, or is that the end of your demo?
I think that's the end.
Okay.
I'm back for the other ones.
Great. Thank you. So let me go ahead and reshare my screen. Yes, I want to continue share screen so you can see my demo up.
Yep.
All right, cool. So let's wrap this up for everyone. We'll talk about the roadmap, which we mentioned. We would give you some insight as to what's to come. So we have a lot of cool stuff coming in the next few months as we continue to release Slingshot to the market. So we're actually going to include a data catalog within Slingshot, which is incredible. Data catalogs for enterprises and small businesses give you an area or a location to store all key data sets. It allows you to do things like certify data sets, annotate data sets. So when you're doing analytics, dashboards, BI, there's one source of truth for everything that you know the enterprise needs. So a data catalog in the market as a point solution is usually extremely expensive, like in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. But we're going to include one in Slingshot because we see the value of that when you're trying to really help your team thrive, create transparency and accountability, and keep everyone being able to work at that point of impact for whatever you happen to be doing. Groups and sharing. So we're going to do a lot more around sharing. And you saw some of it today, like, hey, I can create a task or share an artifact with someone else. We're going to take that to another level where every artifact across the entire application has the exact same options. So be it an image, be it a comment, be it a document or a dashboard, you're going to be able to do a lot with that. We have some new tutorials coming on board. Casey's been working hard on video content. We have a very extensive help library already, which you can go check out. Templates. So templates are huge. We hear this a lot from marketing. Marketing does a lot of product launches. So how can I take this set of projects, artifacts, etc., and just create a template so I can duplicate it every single time that I have a new product launch. So we're going to ship those. We have updated overview windows coming where you can actually do a little bit of customization. And then a little further out, you will be able to actually put goals and strategies in, and all of these roll-ups will bind into those goals and strategies from all of your projects, all of your tasks, and you'll be able to keep your team in the know as to where you are, what new goals are, and management has clear transparency as to what's going on across an entire enterprise and multiple organizations based on how your workspaces are set up. So with that, go ahead and get started today. We're excited to hear your feedback. Slingshotapp.io is the website. You go to that website, you can read all about Slingshot, watch some videos, read the docs, sign up, and start enjoying Slingshot today. And we'll stay on for a couple more minutes and answer any questions. But I want to thank Casey today for a great slide deck and a great demo. And we really hope to hear your feedback on Slingshot, what you like, what you don't like. But most of all, we want to help your team thrive. And we really believe Slingshot can help you do that. Thank you.